Hey guys, it's me, Ariel, and welcome to my YouTube channel here at Hey Ari, where I help teens and my peers basically live the life that they want to live, but also have some life questions about Christ. So today's topic really is peer talk. If you are around my age, a millennial, there is a question that I get all the time from my peers, and it's really asking me, hey Ari, am I ready to be an entrepreneur? Or what is entrepreneurship like? What is that life like? So I want to answer this question for you in just a little bit of my experience when it comes to being a young entrepreneur, because I know a lot of people are pushing millennials to this day and age to be an entrepreneur and have your own business. However, I do have a couple of opinions on that, but then I also have some things that I want to share with you when it comes to you being serious about being an entrepreneur and being a millennial. So the first thing is, obviously you know that I'm an entrepreneur, and it was not by choice. I really kind of felt like as if I was just evolved into being an entrepreneur. I went to college, wanted to be a lawyer, came home from college, and that didn't happen, and my mom was an entrepreneur, and so I basically kind of just started working in her business. However, I knew that I had these two things. Like, I knew that either I wanted to be a lawyer, or if I came home, I was going to work for the legacy that's going to be left for me. I wasn't going to use all my knowledge and all my gifts to build someone else up, because I saw my mom working so hard in her business that I was like, why would I go and do something for somebody else? So for me, becoming an entrepreneur was really like, I don't know, just by innateness, if that makes sense. But it wasn't for a lot of financial things, or oh, I want to work on my own, or I don't want a boss, or things like that. Because technically working with my mom, I mean, we still bicker, it's still bosses, it's all that stuff. So it's a difference. But that's just kind of my journey of how I stepped into entrepreneurship. And if you watch my introductory video, you would know that, we have a faith-based company, another company that I run in commercial real estate, and then also our nonprofit. So that is kind of how I stepped into entrepreneurship, but I do want to let my peers know that there is nothing wrong with having a job. I want to let people know that, because I feel like now it's being pressured, like job stands for just over broke. Yes, a job limits you of how much money that you can make for the things that you want to do. However, there's nothing wrong with having a job. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs right now and a lot of people are telling you that you are less than because you have a job. Guess what? We need our nurses. We need our teachers. We need people who are going to be able to be employed and serve. When you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to want someone to come and serve in your business. And guess what? They're going to consider that to be a job for them. So do not belittle anyone, or do not feel as if you're less than because you have a job. However, God tells us to be a good steward of what He has given us. And I think that if you have a job, you need to be a good steward of that. Don't disrespect it. Don't show up late. You need to take care of your priorities while you're there, because He is going to use that job and your experiences to get you to the next level. And if you're smart, you would know how to use your job to observe, so that if you want to become an entrepreneur, you're looking at the ins and the outs of things. I have worked for companies before, or got part-time jobs, because I want to know, how is this company being sustainable? How is this company being profitable? Because I know that I kind of want to do some things that are similar. So let me look and see what this model is, and how can I implement that into my own model. So there is nothing wrong with having a job. You just have to be a good steward of that, and a good steward of your finances. I always forget that when I came home from college, I didn't get a job right away, because I saved a lot of money while I was in college. And so for my first year, I basically lived off of my savings. I was a good steward of my finances, because I knew that I wanted to do pageants. I knew that I wanted to have these other goals that I want to do. And so I basically saved a lot of my money and lived off of that for an entire year. So I want you to be a good steward of your finances as well. If you're working a job and you're spending your paycheck like right afterwards, and you're not saving anything, entrepreneurship is all about knowing how to manage your finances. And so I definitely think that you should learn how to be financially savvy, because if you can't save anything now with a steady paycheck, I'm gonna let you know automatically that entrepreneurship is going to be very hard if you're not a good steward of your finances. With entrepreneurship comes a lot of sacrifice. I am not going to lie to you and say that it's a breeze. I know a lot of people like to give this whole be your own boss and live on your own and do your own thing. It's a sacrifice, okay? And so there's a couple things I'm going to break down to you about sacrifice and this acronym that I've learned through my experience to help you answer your question, are you really ready to be an entrepreneur and step out? So the first thing with sacrifice is the S, selfish gain. If you have a vision or you have something that you want to do, ask yourself, is this for selfish gain? Because true entrepreneurship and true business owner is about leaving a legacy for somebody else. It's about thinking outside of yourself. So if your business stops at you, if you're saying this is my business and these are my goals and this is the much money that I want to make, and you're not thinking about anyone else, I don't know yet if you're really ready to be an entrepreneur. Because I don't know about you, but when it comes to God and the kingdom, He wants you have nations that are attached to you for you to be able to save. You have people that are looking to you. And so that means that the things that He gives to you is not for you to just be selfish and get rich and die and don't do anything with anyone else. I don't think that's why God put me on this earth. So ask yourself, is my vision, is what I want to do in the entrepreneurship world right now for selfish gain? Am I only thinking about myself and how much money that I necessarily want to make? Or am I tying in another generation into what I desire to do, or my family or my children or whatever the case may be? The A in sacrifice. If you are ready to be an entrepreneurship, I'm going to let you know right now that you are going to have to let go of trying to be accepted, okay? If you have a problem with always being accepted, or you're an entrepreneur and you want everyone to accept you, then that's going to be a struggle, because guess what? Everyone is not going to accept your vision. Everyone's not going to accept your book. Everyone's not going to accept your idea. Everyone's not going to accept what your services are. And there are 1 trillion people in this world. So guess what? You are not meant for all these people in this world. You are meant for a certain remnant of people to help you get to where you want to go. And so if you do not learn how to embrace rejection and you always think that you're going to be accepted, then that is a problem, okay? And I want you, give you a snippet. If you're doing something like, just say you're a makeup artist, broaden your horizons of the people that you're networking. If you're always going to a makeup artist expo and there's everyone there talking about makeup, that's really not your audience for you to be selling to. Learn how to put yourself in an environment where you're not always going to be accepted, and you're going to have to learn how to talk about what you do and your services. So that's the A. Another thing that you're going to have to sacrifice being in entrepreneurship is cash flow, okay? I know people say entrepreneurship, you can make as much money as you want to, but at the end of the day, you're not going to start off being a billionaire. I'm just letting you know that right now. There are really quick schemes out there that can help you get quick money very fast. There's things that people can sell you a dream, but true entrepreneurship is not going to be automatic cash flow. You may do a year of work, 2 years of work, and you're not getting the results that you necessarily want. And you have to know how to sacrifice that cash flow that's going to come in. And that's where I go back to being a good steward of your finances, because if you know how to work with a little, God can bless you with so much more. And so when you start off your entrepreneurship, you got to really think about how much cash flow I have coming in, how am I going to be a good steward of my finances, and think critically about how I'm going to spend my money and invest my money. So definitely know that you're going to have to sacrifice some cash flow. You're going to have to step back from some of those things that you really want. I look at my peers all the time getting brand new cars, or they're shopping, or they're going out and they're doing all these different things. And really, I couldn't do any of that stuff. I couldn't tell my friends like, oh, let's go on the weekend. And I'm like, no. And they're like, you're just so boring. Well, realistically, I didn't have the money. I didn't. And it wasn't for me to tell them that I didn't have the money, but I had to really think, you know what, God, I know you're going to give me so much more later on down the road. So I can't try to fit in and be cool and look like as if I'm balling. No, I got to know where my finances, where they need to be met. So God is going to supply your needs, but you have to be a good steward of your finances and sacrifice that automatic cash flow. For the R in sacrifice, it's your resources, okay? Don't think that as an entrepreneur that you're going to be able to use your job or use what you have to fund everything that you want to do. You're going to have to know how to get resources outside of your circle. And your resources are not just your family. Sometimes you're going to have to talk to people that you don't want to talk to or that you don't know to invest in your business. You may have to try to get sponsorships. You have to think of, how can I get resources outside of myself? Because if you use yourself and you only use the bucket that you have, you are going to be depleted. Big I in sacrifice, and I really want to stress this to my millennials, oh my God, I really do, is you're going to have to sacrifice your intellect, okay? What you want to do as far as entrepreneurship is not going to just rest on what you learn in college, okay? Your knowledge is not in college. Just because you got a master's, just because you got a PhD, just because you got a bachelor's, does not mean that all your knowledge is in there. Do not rely on your professor and what they taught you to say, okay, well now I'm qualified. You're constantly going to have to keep learning. Your knowledge is in books. Your knowledge is in mistakes. Your knowledge is in failures. Your knowledge is in growing. Your knowledge is in other people and just getting mentors. Your knowledge is just not in college. And a lot of my peers really get angry because they feel like I spent all this money to go to college, yet I'm not being successful. And you are going to have to lose your own intellect in what you have learned, because entrepreneurship is about business and it's about learning how to create things to be sustainable and to be long lasting. And you can't just rely strictly, depending on the industry you're in, you can't rely strictly on your college degree to be able to say that I have it all. F in sacrifice, and I know I'm going really fast, but I want you to kind of get this and have a short video, is family. Your friends and family are not going to always support you. I'm so sorry. And you have to know that that doesn't make them any less than. If your circle of influence or your circle who was around you always was there to support you, it would keep you in your comfort zone and you wouldn't even know how to go out to other people. So your friends and your family can't be the ones to support you, but that doesn't mean they love you any less. That doesn't mean they don't believe in you, but what you have is just not for them. So you're going to have to know that my friends and family are here, and you're going to have to know that you are trying to go somewhere else. Don't take their rejection or their lack of acceptance as a negative to you. Just know that there are other people that are for you, and it's sometimes just not the people genetically who have been in your life. The last I for sacrifice is independence. And I'm really talking to a lot of young women out there who want to be entrepreneurs. You are going to have to sacrifice your independence, which means that when you're an entrepreneur, it's okay to depend on other people. I tell my peers all the time, you don't have to go out there and live on your own and pay your own bills when you could stay at home with your parents and save a couple dollars. I mean, why not? Like, learn how to not try to be so independent. I know that you may feel as if I'm a certain age and I should be out there on my own, but realistically, the best scenario someone ever gave me, it was this woman who was a lot older than me, and she said, Ariel, technically you have been on your own since 18 years old, which means you're only 25. I was 25 at the time. And she said, really, you are only 7 years old in the real world. 7 years old. 25 minus 18. She was like, you don't know anything. You're a baby compared to me. She was like 60-something years old. She said, you're a baby. And it made me think, like, I didn't feel bad, but I was like, man, you're right. And the society tries to tell you that you're grown, you're over 18, you could be on your own. Yes, you should be responsible. There's certain things that decisions you should make that you should know the consequences of. But realistically, you're still a baby. You're still learning this thing about life. So don't feel pressured as if you have to be so independent if you have someone that you can depend on and rely on to help you get to where you want to go. C for sacrifice is comfort zone. I talked about that with your friends and family. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to talk to people you don't know when it comes to being an entrepreneur. You're going to have to travel to places you don't know where you're going. When it comes to being an entrepreneur, you have to be able to get out of your comfort zone and do things when you do not even feel like it. That's kind of like our relationship with God. Sometimes we're just like, God, I don't feel like reading my Bible. I don't feel like praying. I don't feel like spending time with you. There's just some things I just don't want to do. And he's like, I don't care. Because in order for you to get what I have for you, you have to glean to me. And he wants you to will yourself over to him. And the same thing when it comes to entrepreneurship. You're not going to want to do it all the time. There's sometimes I don't want to go to schools and mentor young girls. But I have to get out of my comfort zone. And I have to get out of what is comfortable for me. Because this is what God is calling me to do. And that brings me to my last thing of that last E, which is excuses. You have to let go of excuses when it comes to being an entrepreneur. There are some people who like to hold on to their excuses and they still want the benefits of entrepreneurship. And your excuses don't work. Just like when it comes to God, he says, I want you to do something. You're like, well, God, but I'm not ready yet. Or God, I don't have enough money. Or God, I don't know if I could really do this. And he's like, spare me the excuses. I told you what I want you to do, and I'm going to walk with you and provide for you all the way throughout. So you have to know when it comes to entrepreneurship, let go of your excuses. Stop feeling as if you're not good enough. Stop feeling as if you don't have enough money. Stop feeling as if you don't have enough resources. Stop feeling and questioning or doubting yourself, saying, am I going to be able to do what I want to do? You let go of all of your excuses, even your own personal excuses. I know for me, to be an entrepreneur, there's things that I have to do, which means that the moment that I feel sick, the moment that things come to me, the moment I have a headache, I'm like, not today, not today. I am not going to be in this bed, and I'm not going to be sleeping, and I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't feel good today. It is good to rest, absolutely, but I will not let certain strongholds get the best of my mind to keep me from doing what I have to do. And there are a lot of people that I know who are trying to do entrepreneurship, but they're trying to bring a lot of their excuses with them, and it does not work. You have to let go of some of those excuses when it comes to being an entrepreneur. So hopefully this was not too long for my peers. I definitely want to share some of this with you, because with entrepreneurship comes a lot of sacrifice, but guess what? Jesus died on the cross and he sacrificed his life for us, and we are more than equipped and qualified to do what he has called for us to do. And so know that you're going to have to lose yourself to gain the life that you want to have in him, and that you can impact another generation of nations that are attached to you. Because if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be a business owner, it's not only about yourself, but it's about other people. So if you have any questions, definitely visit my website. If you have any more topics that you want me to cover, definitely go to heyari.com and drop your comments or questions below. And stay tuned for some more extra videos, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.